Greenland, the world's largest island, is a land of stark contrasts where vast emptiness meets global significance. Its ice sheet covers over 80% of the territory, rendering much of it uninhabitable, yet this very ice conceals ancient secrets and untapped resources that captivate scientists and strategists alike. Positioned at the crossroads of the Arctic, Greenland's strategic location has long been coveted by world powers for its military and geopolitical advantages, making it a focal point in the race for Arctic dominance. Beneath the ice, recent discoveries hint at a hidden world, from prehistoric ecosystems to potential mineral wealth, fueling speculation and intrigue about what else might be lurking under the frozen surface. The story of human presence in Greenland begins over 4,500 years ago with the arrival of the Paleoinuit cultures, who braved the harsh Arctic conditions to establish the first known settlements on the island. These early inhabitants, including the Sakak, Independence I and II, and Dorset cultures, left behind a rich archaeological record that reveals their adaptations to the extreme environment, from hunting techniques to tool-making traditions. Despite their ingenuity, these cultures eventually vanished, leaving behind mysteries that continue to puzzle researchers and hint at the challenges of sustaining life in one of the world's most inhospitable regions. Archaeological discoveries across Greenland have unearthed a treasure trove of artifacts that paint a vivid picture of the Paleoinuit cultures. For instance, the Sakak people, who thrived around 2500 BCE, are known for their advanced hunting tools made from bone and antler, as well as DNA evidence from ancient hair samples that link them to Siberian ancestors. The Independence I and II cultures, dating back to 2400 BCE and 800 BCE respectively, left behind stone tools and dwelling structures that suggest a nomadic lifestyle adapted to the tundra environment. Meanwhile, the Dorset culture, which flourished from 500 BCE to 1500 CE, is renowned for its artistic expressions, including ivory carvings and masks, hinting at a rich spiritual life amidst the challenges of survival. The Paleoinuit cultures faced formidable environmental challenges in Greenland, where the ice-dominated landscape limited access to arable land and biodiversity, forcing them to rely heavily on marine resources like seals and walruses for sustenance. Climate fluctuations, including periods of extreme cooling, disrupted these fragile ecosystems, leading to food shortages and increased competition for dwindling resources. Additionally, their isolation from other populations hindered cultural exchange and technological innovation, ultimately contributing to their mysterious disappearance as they struggled to adapt to an ever-changing and unforgiving environment. In the late 10th century, Eric the Red, a Norse explorer banished from Iceland for manslaughter, set sail for Greenland driven by a quest for new lands and opportunities. His discovery of the island's fjords and pastures led to the establishment of the first Norse settlements around 985 CE. The sagas of Icelanders, particularly the saga of Eric the Red and the saga of the Greenlanders, recount the initial successes of these settlers, who thrived by farming, hunting, and trading with Europe, even establishing a bishopric that underscored their cultural and religious ties to the Old World. These narratives, blending history and myth, paint a picture of a hardy people who, for a time, managed to carve out a prosperous existence in a land that would later prove to be both a blessing and a curse. The Norse settlements in Greenland were organized into small, self-sufficient communities centered around chieftains who wielded both political and religious authority, mirroring the feudal systems of medieval Europe. Daily life revolved around subsistence farming, with settlers cultivating barley and raising livestock like sheep and cattle, while also engaging in hunting and fishing to supplement their diets. However, the harsh climate and short growing seasons posed constant challenges, requiring meticulous planning and resource management. Socially, the Norse maintained a strong sense of community and tradition, as evidenced by their assembly meetings and adherence to Christian practices, yet their isolation from the mainland left them vulnerable to external threats and internal strife. The decline of the Norse colonies in Greenland was precipitated by a perfect storm of environmental and social factors, the onset of the Little Ice Age in the 14th century brought colder temperatures and increased sea ice, devastating agriculture and disrupting trade routes with Europe. Environmental degradation, including soil erosion and deforestation from overgrazing and timber use, further undermined the settlers' ability to sustain their way of life, while their rigid adherence to European farming practices proved ill-suited to the changing conditions. Compounded by isolation from the mainland and a failure to adapt to the more sustainable practices of the Thule Inuit, who were better equipped for the Arctic environment, the Norse settlements gradually withered, leaving behind abandoned farms and unanswered questions about their final days. The Thule culture, ancestors of the modern Inuit, arrived in Greenland around the 13th century, bringing with them a suite of adaptations finely tuned to the Arctic environment. Their mastery of kayak hunting, dog sledding, and harpoon technology allowed them to efficiently exploit marine mammals like whales and seals, providing a reliable food source. Unlike the Norse, who clung to agricultural traditions, the Thule embraced a nomadic lifestyle that followed the seasonal movements of wildlife, minimizing their impact on any single area and ensuring sustainability. Their social structure, based on extended family units and cooperative hunting, fostered resilience and resource sharing, enabling them to not only survive but thrive in conditions that had proven fatal to earlier inhabitants. While the ice sheet covering over 80% of Greenland is the most apparent reason for its sparse population, other factors contribute to its status as one of the world's least densely populated places. The island's rugged terrain, with its mountainous coastlines and deep fjords, limits habitable areas to narrow coastal strips. Additionally, the extreme climate, characterized by long, dark winters and short, cool summers, poses significant challenges for infrastructure development and agriculture, discouraging large-scale settlement. Furthermore, Greenland's remote location and limited economic opportunities, historically centered around fishing and mining, have kept population growth in check, preserving its vast, untouched landscapes. The Greenland ice sheet covers approximately 81% of the island's total land area, making it the second largest ice body in the world after Antarctica. This immense expanse of ice, up to 3 kilometers thick in places, renders the interior uninhabitable and confines human settlement to the ice-free coastal zones. These coastal areas, comprising less than 20% of Greenland's surface, are where the majority of the population resides, clustered in small towns and villages that rely on maritime resources and limited agriculture. The dominance of the ice sheet not only shapes settlement patterns but also influences transportation, economy, and daily life, as communities must navigate the challenges of living on the edge of one of the planet's most formidable natural barriers. Virtually all settlements in Greenland cling to the narrow, ice-free coastal strips because the interior is a frozen fortress, an ice sheet sprawling over 80% of the island, hiding mysteries like ancient fossils and whispering tales of lost civilizations beneath its icy grip. These coastal enclaves, battered by rugged terrain and brutal storms, offer scant room for expansion, with limited resources fueling rumors of secret caches and underground springs that locals guard fiercely. The constraints here are a conspiracy of nature, scarce land, treacherous access, and a climate that's shifting faster than anyone dares admit, threatening to drown these fragile outposts in a rising sea. The lack of arable soil in Greenland isn't just bad luck, it's a permafrost-laden trap, with rocky wastelands and frozen depths mocking any hope of large-scale agriculture, leaving whispers of failed Norse farms buried under centuries of frost. The short growing season, squeezed by endless dark winters and fleeting summers, once doomed ancient settlers who dared to defy the land. Their skeletal remains a testament to a soil that yields more secrets than crops. Today, this forces Greenlanders to lean on imported goods and hunting lore, fueling tales of a self-reliant people hiding knowledge of survival the world has yet to crack. Building infrastructure in Greenland is a logistical nightmare. Permafrost twists foundations, blizzards bury plans, and jagged peaks defy the dreams of roads or railways, as if the island itself conspires to stay untamed. The financial burden is staggering. with costs so high that some whisper of shadowy foreign investors eyeing the land not for connection, but for hidden riches beneath the ice, waiting to be exploited. This leaves settlements cut off, reliant on sky and sea, fostering a rugged isolation that breeds stories of lost expeditions and abandoned projects swallowed by the Arctic void. For centuries, Greenland's geographic isolation was its jailer. Cut off by treacherous seas and a climate that froze out invaders, its slow population growth hints at a land hoarding its secrets from the world. Politically shackled as a Danish pawn, it languished in obscurity, its people denied the trade and ideas that could have swelled its numbers, leaving behind sagas of Norse ghosts and forgotten outposts. This historical solitude stunted its rise, crafting a sparse populace that some say guards ancient knowledge, waiting for the day the world comes knocking, or invades. Today, Greenland's population teeters on a knife edge, slow growth masks a silent exodus, as youth flee to Denmark for education and jobs, lured by whispers of a softer life beyond the ice. Those who stay cling to cultural roots and the wild call of tradition, yet many suspect a deeper pull, perhaps hidden opportunities in the thawing land, known only to the steadfast few. The drift to nuke and bigger towns signals a shift, where modern perks like healthcare and connectivity beckon, leaving rural hamlets as ghostly relics of a fading past. The rush to nuke in Greenland's few urban hubs isn't just convenience, it's a quiet takeover, driven by modern comforts, schools, and work that smaller villages can't match, as if the island's heart is being sucked into a single pulse. This urban concentration leaves the hinterlands exposed, economic rot and social decay set in, with whispers of abandoned towns hiding clues to what's really drawing people cityward, untapped resources or secret projects beneath the streets. It's a global game writ small, where geography and climate twist the rules, funneling life into a handful of strongholds while the rest fades into legend. In the 21st century, Greenland has exploded onto the world stage. Its Arctic perch opens shipping lanes as ice melts, and its mineral troves like rare earth spark a geopolitical frenzy, with nations plotting to claim its frozen bounty. Scientists swarm its ice sheet, unearthing climate clues that scream of a warming planet, while military minds eye its strategic spot. Some say US bases already lurk in the shadows, watching Russia and China. This isn't just land, it's a global chessboard, where every melting glacier reveals a new move in the Arctic power grab, and every discovery fuels tales of what's still buried. The Greenland ice sheet is melting at a terrifying clip. Satellite eyes track glacial rivers pouring into the sea, a climate change beacon that's jacking up global sea levels faster than the world can brace for. Experts warn that a full meltdown could lift oceans by 7 meters, a doomsday script backed by ice core tales of ancient floods, hinting this isn't the first time the islands tried to drown us. It's the epicenter of a planetary shift, where every crack in the ice feeds conspiracy theories of a world reset, and maybe a cover-up of what's melting out with it. If Greenland's ice loss keeps surging, global coastlines are toast. Sea level rise could swamp Miami, Bangkok, and Amsterdam, with maps redrawn by water and millions fleeing as the Arctic's revenge. The freshwater flood from this meltdown might choke ocean currents, flipping climate switches worldwide, a chaos some claim is already scripted in secret reports from the ice's edge. Coastal towns brace for floods and erosion, while whispers grow of elite bunkers prepped for the fallout, as if the thaw's a signal for something bigger lurking ahead. Scientists are drilling into Greenland's ice sheet, pulling out melt rates, temperature spikes, and ice core diaries, data so vital it's rewriting global climate models and fueling hushed talk of suppressed findings too wild to release. This research predicts sea surges and weather flips, but the real kicker is the ancient evidence, trapped air bubbles and fossils hinting at lost worlds, maybe even civilizations erased by past thaws. It's a race against the melt, where every core yanked from the ice might unlock climate truths, or confirm the darkest theories of what's coming next. Greenland's strategic location is a geopolitical jackpot, perched between North America and Europe. It looms over the Arctic shipping routes, a thawing gateway that could slash trade times and redraw global power maps. From its icy cliffs, the island watches the Northwest Passage emerge, a shadowy prize that has China and Russia scheming, while the US tightens its grip with bases like Patuffik, hinting at a chess game where every move echoes with whispers of domination. This isn't just geography, it's a frozen throne, poised to control the Arctic secrets as the ice melts and the world scrambles for position. As sea ice vanishes, Greenland's waters unveil the Northwest Passage and Northern Sea Route, new shipping lanes that could cut Asia to Europe journeys by weeks, promising billions in trade savings. These routes might transform sleepy Arctic ports into gold mines, but the shadow of oil spills and military convoys looms, with insiders murmuring about secret pacts to exploit this icy shortcut before it's too late. The economic implications are a double-edged sword, fortunes for shipping titans, yet a ticking bomb for a fragile ecosystem, as nations race to claim the spoils. Beneath Greenland's ice and along its shores lies a jackpot of rare earth elements, oil, gas, and minerals, a stash so rich it's got China's tech lords and America's war hawks drooling over the next big score. Satellite scans tease at deposits that could fuel everything from smartphones to missiles, sparking a global frenzy as the melting ice peels back a curtain on riches ripe for the taking. This resource potential isn't just wealth, it's leverage, with whispers of covert missions already sniffing out what could tip the scales in a world addicted to power. The rare earth elements in Greenland, like neodymium and dysprosium, are the dark magic behind global tech, powering electric cars, wind turbines, and military gear, and their abundance could shatter China's chokehold on the supply chain. These metals are the backbone of the Green Revolution and tomorrow's wars, making Greenland a linchpin in a shadowy race where control means supremacy, or chaos if it sparks a resource war. With mining companies and governments circling, the island's icy veins could either rewrite the tech world or ignite a conspiracy-laden showdown. Tapping Greenland's riches is a cursed quest. Permafrost and shifting ice turn drilling into a deadly gamble, while a single environmental disaster could poison oceans and unravel a web of life already hanging by a thread. The technical challenges are a nightmare: extreme cold, remote outposts, and unstable ground drive cost sky high, with tales of lost expeditions fueling rumors of a land that fights back. Add the political tangle of indigenous rights and international treaties, and exploiting these resources feels like a deal with the devil, shrouded in whispers of doom. Greenland's military value is a Cold War ghost reborn. Its strategic perch lets the United States spy on Russia and China, with Patuffik Space Base as the eagle's nest in an Arctic showdown brewing beneath the surface. As climate change thaws the ice, the island's grip on shipping lanes and resource routes makes it a prize too big to ignore, with every bunker a signal that the old war never died, it just got frostbite. This is no backwater, it's a geopolitical linchpin, where control could checkmate rivals or light the fuse for the next global clash. Back in the 1950s, Thule Air Base, now Patuffik Space Base, rose from Greenland's ice as a Cold War fortress, a secret lair packed with nuclear bombers and spy tech, aimed straight at the Soviet Union's heart. Its birth was a tale of engineering marvels and deception, whispered about in classified corridors as the US built a frozen dagger to keep Moscow in check. The legacy of this outpost lingers, a spectral sentinel, guarding secrets of a shadow war that still haunts the Arctic night. Project Iceworm was a Cold War fever dream, a wild US scheme to carve tunnels under Greenland's ice sheet, hiding 600 nuclear missiles on rails, poised to obliterate the Soviet Union in a heartbeat. Declassified in the 90s, it revealed a madcap vision undone by shifting glaciers and melting ice, leaving abandoned tunnels as a monument to hubris, and a conspiracy nuts dream of what might still be buried there. Nature laughed last, crushing this doomsday plot, but the whispers persist. Did they leave something behind in the ice? In 1968, a B-52 bomber crashed near Thule Air Base, dropping nuclear bombs onto Greenland's ice, a near-apocalypse that had cleanup crews racing to hide the fallout while locals muttered about contaminated soil and hushed-up cancers. The Thule accident scarred the land and the people, with environmental damage and diplomatic fallout hinting at a cover-up by military brass desperate to bury the truth. Decades later, it's a chilling reminder of the Arctic's dark history, where beauty masks a ledger of near misses and unspoken fears. Today, Patuxent Space Base is the USS Arctic Ace, a missile warning and space surveillance hub, its radar system scanning for ICBMs and space junk, a silent sentinel in a world where threats now rain from the sky. Reborn from its Cold War roots, it's the front line in a new game, tracking satellites and cyber wars as the Arctic heats up, with Greenland as the high ground in a global stare-down. Its modern strategic value is unshakable, a testament to an island that's less a wilderness and more a watchtower for a restless planet. The renewed U.S. interest in Greenland erupted in 2019 when whispers of a bold offer to buy the island from Denmark leaked, a modern empire-building plot fueled by economic motivations like untapped rare earths and oil waiting beneath the melting ice. Behind closed doors, political chess played out as insiders saw Greenland as the key to dominating Arctic shipping lanes and securing a new American frontier, a move so audacious it sparked global outrage yet revealed a hunger for resource dominance. This wasn't a whim, it was a calculated strike, cloaked in diplomatic intrigue, to claim a thawing prize before rivals could blink. Through diplomatic maneuvering, the U.S. flexes its military presence at Patuxent Space Base to counter Russian icebreakers carving paths through the Arctic and Chinese cache-eyeing shipping routes, turning Greenland into a fortress against encroaching foes. Secret handshakes with Denmark and shadowy economic deals aim to keep the island in the western fold, a high-stakes game where every smile hides a dagger and the Arctic chessboard tilts toward a new Cold War. As the ice thins, America's moves signal a desperate bid to box out rivals, with Greenland as the linchpin in a battle for northern supremacy. Caught in a web of power, Greenland dances a tightrope between Denmark's colonial grip and the predatory stares of America and China, both lusting after its strategic assets like military bases and mineral veins. Local leaders play a cunning game, bartering resource deals and defense pacts to claw toward independence, yet whispers of hidden agendas suggest they're pawns in a grander scheme where foreign powers pull the strings. This saga of sovereignty unfolds as a thriller, with every step teetering between liberation and a new master's chains, all under the world's watchful eyes. Beneath Greenland's colossal ice sheet, scientists have uncovered stunning discoveries, a vault of secrets like subglacial lakes, ancient landscapes, and canyons that rewrite the island's frozen facade as a time capsule of Earth's history. Radar scans and ice cores peel back layers of mystery, hinting at prehistoric life and climate shifts that could upend textbooks or fuel wild conspiracies about what's been buried for millennia. These finds transform Greenland from a barren waste into a siren call for explorers, each revelation a breadcrumb in a trail of untold wonders. In 2016, radar data shocked the world by unveiling a vast subglacial lake beneath Greenland's ice, a liquid giant trapped under miles of frozen armor that defies the Arctic's icy grip. Scientists speculate it could harbor ancient microbes or geological oddities, while conspiracy buffs whisper of stranger things lurking in its dark depths, untouched by human eyes. This watery tomb, one of the largest of its kind, stands as a haunting enigma, a pocket of mystery that could rewrite the rules of life, or hide secrets too eerie to fathom. Using cutting-edge radar technology, researchers have exposed ancient landscapes beneath Greenland's ice, rolling hills, riverbeds, and valleys frozen in time, a snapshot of a lush tundra from a million years past. These prehistoric terrains whisper of a Greenland once green and teeming with life, with fossils and soil samples poised to unlock the secrets of Earth's climate flips before the ice claimed its throne. It's a ghostly map of a lost world, a discovery that turns the island into a time machine, and a conspiracist's dream of buried truths. Hidden under Greenland's ice lie subglacial canyons of staggering scale, one stretching over 750 kilometers, possibly the longest on Earth, carved by ancient rivers and now shrouded in eternal darkness. These colossal chasms silently steer the ice sheet's melt, a hidden hand shaping the climate's future, with scientists racing to chart them before the thaw exposes, or obliterates, their secrets. It's a subterranean marvel, proof that Greenland's true giants lurk below, unseen titans in a land of ice and shadow. Drilled from Greenland's depths, ice cores serve as climate diaries, their layers trapping air bubbles, dust, and isotopes that chronicle ancient temperatures, volcanic eruptions, and even whispers of human history stretching back over 100,000 years. These frozen archives offer a crystal-clear ledger of the planet's atmospheric shifts, with some claiming they might hold clues to lost civilizations or cataclysmic events too wild to dismiss. Each core is a page in an icy library, a treasure trove that could rewrite our past, or foretell a chilling future. Scientists hunt a million-year ice core from Greenland's frozen heart, a holy grail that could decode long-term climate cycles and reveal why Earth swings between ice ages and warm spells on a cosmic clock. Buried deep, this ancient ice might expose hidden triggers for the next global chill or heat wave, a prize so perilous that the groaning ice threatens to crush the quest before it's won. It's a race against nature, where the reward is a glimpse into a past that could mirror our doom, or confirm the darkest prophecies. Greenland dazzles with surprising facts, its midnight sun bathes summer in endless light, while polar night cloaks winter in darkness, pierced only by the aurora borealis dancing like a spectral code. The world's largest national park sprawls across its wilds, a realm of musk oxen and untouched vastness, yet its name, a Viking lie by Eric the Red, masks an icy truth behind a green deception. This land of quirks, from endless days to frozen giants, whispers an allure that's as enigmatic as it is untamed, a riddle wrapped in ice. Greenland's tale begins with a deceptive autonomy. Its status as an autonomous territory under the Kingdom of Denmark grants it a local government that rules over internal affairs, yet the shadow of Copenhagen looms large, clutching defense and foreign policy like a jealous overlord. This fractured power splits the soul of Greenlanders, forging an identity caught between the ancient call of their Inuit roots and the Danish leash, a tension that whispers of secret pacts and a land never truly free. It's a political enigma where every decision feels like a coded message, hinting at a deeper game played on this icy chessboard. From this tangled governance emerges a fierce cultural resilience, where Inuit culture in Greenland thrives by blending traditional hunting with rifles and kayaking with motors into a world of social media and streaming services. Elders guard ancient lore of ice spirits and survival, passing it to a generation that dances to global rhythms, their lives a defiant fusion of sealskin boots and smartphone screens that mocks the idea of a dying heritage. This vibrant mix isn't mere adaptation, it's a cryptic signal of a people who've mastered time itself, their secrets woven into every stitch and bite. Beyond the polar bears that roam its surface, Greenland's unusual wildlife reveals nature's own conspiracies, like the Greenland shark, a silent predator lurking in the depths, its 400-year lifespan a riddle wrapped in toxic flesh. Stranger still are the narwhals, their spiral tusks piercing the Arctic myths, and the Arctic foxes, ghostly survivors shifting coats with the seasons in a land that punishes the weak. These creatures aren't just oddities, they're living clues to a harsher, hidden world, thriving where life shouldn't, as if guarding secrets the ice refuses to yield. The land itself plays tricks with geographic quirks. Greenland's vastness is a lie on maps, shrunk by Mercator's distortion to hide a sprawl that could dwarf Europe, a deception that fuels wild theories of suppressed truths. No native trees stand tall, only dwarf birches crouch in the tundra, as if the island bans forests to protect its mysteries beneath an ice sheet thicker than history. This warped expanse isn't just empty, it's a deliberate void, a stage set for revelations that cartographers and kings might prefer stay buried. Yet even in this frozen isolation, modern connectivity creeps in. Greenland's towns like New come with fiber optic cables and 5G signals, tying hunters to the web as they track prey with GPS satellite dishes pierce the snow, beaming global voices into the silence, but locals murmur of data intercepts and foreign spies, suggesting this tech web might ensnare more than it frees. It's a paradox of progress and paranoia, where the aurora shares the sky with drones, and every connection hints at a larger plot tightening around this enigmatic land.